Hello everyone, welcome to our video on author's purpose and message. We are going to be talking about PIDE and beyond. We have to take it a little bit beyond what we know about author's purpose. The most common is the acronym PI. So make sure that you have, first of all, your notebook set up correctly, that your left side is ready to go with your visa, and that your right side is ready to go with your note taker. Remember that as I go through the video, you're going to be writing down what's on the screen, and at the end, you'll have your notes complete, ready to refer to later on whenever you need them. So your note taker looks like this. I'm going to go through each of the categories for PIDE, and then we're going to look at some questions that you can ask yourself to help you decide what is the author's purpose and what message are they trying to give you, the reader, through their writing. So let's start with persuade. That is the P in our PIDE. To persuade means to convince the reader of something. This is where the author wants the reader to think or do something. They'll give you their opinion, and they'll usually back it up with some facts, some details, and reasons that you should believe the way they do, or you should do what they want you to do. Another word for this is to convince or to encourage. Both of those mean persuade. These are synonyms. The next one is to inform. This is when the author is giving just information about a specific topic. This is where it helps the reader learn facts. This is your nonfiction text. Most nonfiction texts have the primary purpose of informing. They're giving you details, they're giving you facts, they're making sure you know everything they want to tell you about that topic. Some synonyms for that is to tell. You could even have a compare and contrast. They could give you information about two different things and tell you how they're alike and different, or to list. The next one is E for explain. This is very similar to inform, but they're giving you details about the topic, and they want the reader to know how or why something is the way it is. This is why it's called explain. They're not just giving you straight out information, but they're explaining why it's like that, how something happened, and some synonyms for that are to define, to demonstrate, or to enlighten. All of those mean explain. The next E, we have two E's in PIDE, is entertain. This is where it tells a story and engages the reader. This is all your fiction texts, right? They tell you a story from beginning to end. It usually follows some sort of plot, right? There's a problem, there's a solution, there's characters, and it's entertaining for the reader. They want you to enjoy the story, and it can also include a theme or a lesson. This is where it can teach you a lesson. Now, just because it's teaching you a lesson doesn't mean that it's meant to inform you, because they're not giving you information, they're just giving you a theme. So we have to be careful with that. Another word for entertain is to engage or amuse. The D is for describe. This uses the senses to paint a picture. You have your five senses, right? And the author appeals to those senses by describing how something looks and feels and tastes. Depending on the topic, they're going to use different senses and different words to help you paint a picture. The point of that is to visualize the topic. They really want you to get a picture in your head about how it is, where it is, what it looks like, what it does, what it feels like, what it sounds like, all of those things. So some synonyms for describe is to illustrate or to define. So now we have the author's purposes. But the important part is not just to identify whether the author is trying to persuade, inform, explain, entertain, or describe, but why are they doing that? What message are they trying to send? Is this in a nonfiction text? Is it fiction? Is it drama? Is it poetry? Why is it that they're telling you what they're telling you, right? So let's look at the questions that you can ask yourself as you preview and as you read the text to help you dig a little deeper as to what the purpose is, but also what the message is. So one thing you can ask you is, why did the author write this? What was their intention? Were they just trying to entertain you? Were they wanting you to visualize? Were they giving you information? Why did they write this piece? How did the author want you to feel or think? You know, if this is persuasive, were they trying to get you to agree with them? If this was a funny story, were they trying to make you feel amused? If this was describing how something happened, were they trying to get you to picture it? What did they want you to feel or think? Next is, what techniques did the author use to accomplish this? How did they organize their writing? What kind of words did they use? Did they appeal to your senses? Can you tell that this is fiction or is this nonfiction? Did they use facts? Did they use opinions? What are the ways that the author wrote the text to get their point across? And does the purpose change within the text? A text can have more than one purpose, and you have to think too, what is the primary purpose? Like, what is the main reason the author wrote this? There can be also a secondary purpose. One of the things I think of is, if you pick up a nonfiction book on a topic that you really like, yes, the main purpose is going to be to inform, but a lot of times they're also going to entertain you. However, what was the main purpose for the author? To give you information about the topic or to make it entertaining? This is where you have to ask yourself all of these questions to decide, what is the author trying to do with this text? This is what we call the author's craft. How did they write their writing? So by now you should have all of your information on your note taker written. Remember to complete your visa on the left side. This will help you reflect on what you just saw and what you just wrote to make sure you truly understand it. That last part, the ask a question, is really important because that's going to help us discuss the video and dig a little deeper into the topic. Make sure you post your question on Google Classroom or wherever else your teacher has asked you to post it, and make sure you're ready to discuss the video.